So we have a number of sub-Saharan Africa central banks which will be holding their interest rate decisions over the next 10 days. Just one more reason to stay on the sidelines, especially monetary authorities in key economies will be deciding interest rate. Of course, Nigeria will start on Monday and Tuesday next week. We'll see who's holding interest rate. The devastating September 14 attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil infrastructure could increase pressure on fuel prices and inflation, adding to worries on global market volatility, trade tensions, and domestic debt constraints. Since the Monetary Policy Committee's last met, South Africa and Nigeria, the two of the continent's two biggest economies, reported paltry uninspiring second quarter growth data, and Ghana's budget review showed a slight deterioration in public finances. So the new development bank, which is the multilateral development institution set up by members of the BRICS group of countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has extended its first loan in local currency unit by providing 7 billion rand to build South African roads. The 15-year facility to the South African National Roads Agency will be guaranteed by the country's government and still needs the approval of the transport and finance ministers. The new development bank was set up in 2015 with initial capital of $50 billion by the BRICS countries. Of course, as you heard, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which is a counterweight to the International Monetary Fund. So let's talk about one of Nigeria's golden geese that lays the country's egg, and that's the liquefied natural gas. Nigeria exports earnings in 2018 was approximately $63 billion, with the LNG being responsible for 14.2% of that, the second largest source of dollar revenue for the country. Now, Just LNG Limited is currently in talks with lenders for a $10 billion loan to finance Train 7. The company currently has 6 trains producing 22 million tons per annum and puts LNG as the 4th largest exporter globally. And Train 7 is expected to boost production by another 35% and compete for higher ranking in the global market. Aishat Dahoud is a member of the research team at Financial Derivatives Company and joining us live in the studios here at headquarters to talk to this. It's good to have you, Aishat.
Thank you for having me.
When we talk about commodities, oftentimes we talk more about petrol, diesel, and what have you. Gas sometimes get missing in the conversation. But this is good news at this time for Nigeria in terms of this LNG. So what's your thoughts at FDC on this deal?
So for LNG at this time, this is a prudential decision. Taking $10 billion loans to invest in Train 7, it's highly needed. Such reasonable debts are what we need to look forward to in Nigeria. We're not taking this debt for consumption activities. We're not taking it to boost consumption. We're taking it to make strategic investments in Nigeria. And this is set to boost the Nigerian economy.
Okay, so this is a good decision.
Yes, it is.
LNG has deep pocket of money, but it also has debt.
Yes.
So how do you think this will work out?
So looking at the debt servicing burden as a toss on Nigeria right now is excruciating. Yes, no pain, no gain. This is set to improve our production capacity. Nigeria is naturally a gas-producing state as compared to oil.
So do you think if we go this route, it will help us diversify from oil if we build Train 7? Well, that's what we're focusing on right now.
I see where you're headed to with this. But what is of utmost important right now is for Nigeria to boost and maximize our gas production capacity. Look at it. Adding Train 7 to the 6 trains we have right now for exporting of gas to Nigeria, NLNG is currently the 4th largest exporter globally, not just in Africa, globally. We are the 4th largest exporter. So if we're having Train 7, we're going to increase our production capacity. We'll be exporting not just 22 million tons per annum, we'll be exporting 30 million tons per annum. That's a 5% increase in production. And I think this is a win-win for us. We're going to create more jobs. We're going to boost the economy. We're going to boost the revenue earnings in Nigeria. This is something we should look forward to. We're not taking this debt for consumption reasons. We're taking it to make strategic investment that would, you know, in the long run, look at the cost-benefit analysis. In the long run, revenue expected from this investment is set to surpass the cost of investment. This is a good one for Nigeria.
I can smell good money, where you have contractual external debt of $25.6 billion. we can use a lot of this money.
we can use a lot of this money. Contractual debt is $25.6 billion currently. Nigeria is the second largest contributor to our export earnings. And this LNG is said to be contributing 14.2% of this. Imagine 40.2%. And our current Nigeria export earnings is said to be $63 billion. LNG contributing 14.2%, that's about $8.82 billion. This is good money. This is good money, and Nigeria needs such revenue right now.
As I said, I can smell good money. Thank you. It's
Thank
good
you
to have you here. Put some gas energy and investment into the conversation.
Thank you
so much for coming through. Aisha Dawood, a member of the Economic Think Tank and a research analyst with Financial Derivatives Company. So South African power utility, or troubled South African power utility company, ESKOM, has sought advices on how to implement a government bailout 7 months after President Cyril Ramaphosa said the company will be reorganized. ESKOM has issued an invitation to tender for financial services for implementation for government support package. That was on the 23rd of August. The tender, which closed on September the 3rd, requires that a team of advisors provide its record in providing holistic solutions to restore the viability of companies in financial distress for transaction values in excess of $1 billion. ESKOM supplies about 95% of South Africa's power, has been granted 128 billion rand in state bailouts over the next 3 years, so the company does not go under. The government has proposed splitting the utility into generation, transmission, and distribution units, and is evaluating a range of options to reduce ESKOM's costs of debts and improve its performance. And sticking with the world of energy, Tanzania is planning to construct a 30-kilometer pipeline to extend the country's natural gas supply network from the capital Dar es Salaam to the nearby town of Bagamoyo to provide cheaper energy for factories and households. The country has been eager to expand supplies of natural gas to more towns to allow factories in particular to replace more costly sources of energy such as coal and imported diesel. A tender to select a developer is expected to be announced early October at the latest. Bagamoyo in eastern Tanzania is a fast-growing town and home to a range of large and medium-sized factories producing different products, including steel and beverages. Let's close on that note for today. Here on Business Incorporated, I am Bosin Namafaye, and I'll see you next time.